Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? Really like that. You really like that? Let's shut up and grab some tape. Let's try this again. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Hot Off the Presser. For those of you who don't know, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there is often press availability in Athens. Yours truly has to be there, and then Jet over here. We try to give you these fresh out of the truck takes. Fresh off the presser, hot off the presser, if you will. So yeah, let's talk about something a little different. It's a special edition of one of these right here. Coming from where we're coming from the house every day, I'm kind of new to being this daily visitor of the city of Athens, to be honest with you. Never lived there, never did anything, didn't go to school there, just tasked to cover the team. Lucky enough to now live close enough to go there day to day. And this is my first kind of inclination of driving daily through the city of Athens, particularly driving down North Millage, because my route every single day takes me right down North Millage. And I've heard a lot about North Millage, and I've seen a good bit of North Millage at this point, or at least Millage Ave, going down that area. And particularly the behavior that I notice most is of those of the males, okay, the men on this little drive every single day. And I noticed there is always a reason to be outside, okay? Today, for example, it was pouring down raining. For some reason, there was two young men standing outside of a fraternity house in tank tops with boxing gloves on and mitts, just throwing some jabs, just getting a workout in. Yesterday, I saw two young gentlemen who had just obviously discovered baseball mitts. I mean, because they damn sure hadn't found them before. I see newborns throw balls better than this, but yet they just had to have a reason to be outside. I shit you not. Monday, driving through downtown on Millage, not downtown, driving off downtown, driving down Millage. I saw two jokers outside cleaning their beer pong table just to have a reason to be outside. Now, we are all men here. The demographics at least tell me most of you are. We are mostly men here. I understand why they are outside, because it is just not fraternity houses on Millage. It is that of sorority houses as well. So I get it. I understand why we are outside, okay? I get it. I understand why we have to find reasons to be outside. I understand why we can't just go sit a damn lawn chair outside and just sit there. I get it. I understand. But gentlemen, just if I could speak for the women, and I'm not a female. I'm not a woman. I'm not. But I would like my gawking to be a little bit more forward and upfront. Like, if we just got reasons, if we got to make up reasons to go sit outside, why not just go sit outside and have conversations with the women that you're trying to stare at while you're out there? Because we know what you're doing. We all know what you're doing. Just like Nick said yesterday with holding the depth charts. We know what you're doing. All right? So, yeah, it's outside the realm of the normal hot off the presser. But, bro, I'm just waiting for, just the most rant. You think you out here pulling chicks, throwing frisbees out front in your chubbies? What's happening here, man? Y'all are college A students. Y'all go to school with a lot of these guys. Now, y'all are not fraternity brothers. Y'all are not. I don't see any tattoos. I don't know much about you before you started working for me, but you don't check my vibes on that one. All right, nor am I. Never would have fit in. Not my gig. But what's up, man? Why we got to find? I mean, you be mowing grass out on Millage, shirtless too, it seems.
I don't live on Millage, but I would, yeah.
But you would, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why else go to the gym?
Because it's good for you.
Well, that too. But
what do you mean? Look, I think.
Explain this to me. I mean, dude, beer pong, cleaning the beer pong table, not playing, cleaning, dog. Preparing for the season. I get it. And the playing of the catch was really, really tough. But explain this to me. This fascination with being outside and finding reasons to be outside. Why can't you just be outside?
I got a couple of reasons for it. Have you ever been inside of a frat house at UGA?
Not coherently.
It's a dungeon, bro. You don't want to stay in there long.
For real?
Outside is clean compared to that. It's bad.
Oh, yeah.
And two,
checks out.
It's just the boys having a good time, man. When you live in a house full of dudes and there's a football laying around or there's a frisbee or you got a die table outside, why not go out and do that? I mean, so yeah, part of it is, there's girls walking up and down the street, but other than that, it's just having a good time with the boys, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's no backyards at these fraternity houses?
No, it's the front yards are the biggest part of the yard. And most of the backyards are parking lots.
There is one or two, I think, that does have a basketball hoop in the back, though.
But we can all agree, pouring down rain, throwing some jabs with the boxing mitts, we know
It's
what
a little
you're
much.
doing.
Was it just those two guys?
Oh, yeah, just the two dudes.
So they
blowing out.
weren't pledges.
No, I don't know what they were. I don't know the whole fraternity structure. I don't know how that works.
Because some of these places have
pledges, all that good stuff. I don't know.
I think it's just a principle of like letting everybody know that you're around, you're there. Like you get to see me. Like
I mean, look, dude, I am not one to judge. I get called the D word all the time. I mean, people give me the D bag energy big time. I get it. I know who I am. I know what I am. But yeah, I probably would have been doing the same stuff. I just thought it was funny, man. On to the pressers. Okay, we had Tate Ratledge and Arian Smith. I'll be quick with Arian Smith, just right quick. He don't want to be there. Coach, can we stop sending him? He don't want to be there. We good. It was 7.5 minutes. All right. I asked him and I wouldn't want to be there. And maybe he's just trolling. If I were a 19, 20, 21-year-old guy standing in front of like 18 dudes that, look like me, I probably wouldn't be forthcoming with all my answers anyways. But yeah, the presser, I checked on the phone as it was uploading, 7.5 minutes. Okay. Not a long one. Didn't necessarily want to be there. Anyways, got some good stuff out of him. I asked him what's been the key to kind of staying healthy, and he just said it's staying healthy. And then I asked him, hey, you're a 10-second 100-meter runner. There's a lot of fast receivers in this world, but, running receiver, sometimes you got to slow down. So have you ever had coaches be like, hey, Aaron, you got to slow down on this route, can't run through that? And he's like, yeah, dead ass. Just said, yeah. And I kind of went like this, and he was like, yeah. I mean, coach tells me to slow down all the time. Coach told me to slow down in walkthroughs the other day. Said I was going too fast. I'm like, bro, I know you know. You play at Georgia. You're a smart football player. I know you know that I know that you know what I'm talking about. Like Deshaun Jackson has been open about this. The guy he's been compared to, open. Fastest receiver that probably has been known to be an all-pro guy at the NFL level consistently. And the number one thing he learned when he got to the league, I got to slow down. I can't run 10-second 100-meter everywhere I go. I'm going to run into coverage way too fast. I'm going to run out of windows way too quickly. I have to learn how to run with nuance. That's all I was asking him. And he literally yahed me. Yeah, like that right there. That's about what he gave me. He gave me a About as useless as you were right there just now. Anyway, so I discovered that about Arian today. Just don't want to be there, so let's just not. And then Tate, my boy Tate Ratledge. I don't know what's going on with the offensive line room, but right now, big into the slides. I guess slides are always college football thing. All college football players out here in the slides, but the foamy slides, the ones, y'all know what I'm talking about. That one, short, like designer short, like boxers, not boxer shorts, but like boxers. What boxers wear in the ring, that's what these offensive linemen are wearing nowadays. You know what I'm talking about. You're a big style guy. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
What are these called?
Like,
is there a certain style or brand that the kids are wearing
like
these days?
Dior shorts?
Yeah, there were some Dior's on Amarius the other day. Tate had a very similar pair on him. But anyways, we're going to talk about some concept of the day. I asked Tate about the difference between being covered and uncovered as an offensive guard. Oftentimes, depending on who you are playing and how multiple they are, you have game plans where you go into the week where as an offensive guard or as a center, this week might be a big week for you. As a center, I got a true zero over me. As a guard, I got a three technique over me. We're going to talk about the difference in the workload and the preparation required to do both of those. Thought he gave a pretty, not necessarily a detailed answer today, but he gave the answer that I was searching for from a football knowledge and explained it really, really well. This is what guys will have to do. Not that I'm an NFL evaluator or anything like that, but this is what guys will have to do. They'll have to explain football. They'll have to show that they can talk football when they go to the league, when they do interviews and things like that. Tate talks football really well. So I wanted to hear him say like, hey, this is what I'm thinking when we face defenses that I'm covered or I'm uncovered. So excited to talk to you about that today. Let's see. Let's go through the notes. Let's stop rambling. Let's actually look through the notes from today. I don't know why I'm starting all the way there. We're way in the back nowadays. Man, the feeling of finishing a good notebook, boys, not much stronger. You guys don't seem like heavy notes guys. You're an iPad guy. No traditional notes takers.
No, not anymore. It's just so much easier as a college kid to just everything's on your laptop.
Hey, maybe
you
I'll
gotta load it down.
Maybe I'll rub off on you some kind of way. It's just something about physically writing it down. My brain retains it a little bit better. But I had a good 100, dozen, 1,000 hits onto the head, more than you guys. Said he had more trust in the SVP, did Tate, than any other football player he's ever played with, and I think that's a trait that Cedric's going to get. And it's not just like trust doesn't just come from he knows what he's doing. Every center's supposed to know what they're doing. But also trust comes from consistency. I know where that guy's going to be, right? I know where that guy's going to be at all times. I know what I can give him. I know what I can't. I know what he can do. I know what he can't do. There's no ups and downs. There's no, today he's, a little bit short on getting over to me when we're working to our right and I got a shade to my left. Or I got a one technique to my left, right? Different combination blocks, if there's inconsistencies day to day, man, that makes my job really, really hard because I don't know who I'm working with. I imagine showing up to your day-to-day operations of your job, right? And the person you're most dependent upon to have your job go successfully or smoothly is just a different person day to day, or a up and down guy. That's hard to do. So I think a lot of that trust comes from not only knowledge of the game and Cedric taking care of all the calls and being just a smart football player in general, but also being a consistent human being, always knowing where you're at and always being in the right spot. Obviously, he was asked to talk about playing next to Marius. It's fun listening to these guys talk about, just how freaky that dude is. When you hear, Tate is no small person. Tate is 6'6.5". He'll probably measure in 6'6", 3/4, 335 at the NFL Combine. And whatever he'll run, but he is not a small human. And when he talks about Marius, it's a different level of respect for even that kind of human, and that's interesting to hear. Terminology, big terminology channel around here. A worker's mentality. That was the key word that stood out when he was talking about Stacey Searles today, talking about instilling that into each and every player, or each and every offensive lineman, right? Showing up every single day with the willingness and the need, rather, to go to work, bringing a worker's mentality to work every single day. That's what we try to do around here. We try to get to work, get after it around this channel every single day. Welcome into tonight's show. We got a loaded one for you. We're going to talk about some concepts of the day. Kirby Smart yesterday talked about Nolan Smith, quote, sacrificing a lot of rushes trying to get the quarterback out of the pocket. We've told you on this channel for a while that Georgia does a very unique job of forcing scramblers sometimes out of the pocket. Very unique to them. A lot of other quarterbacks, or rather a lot of other teams talk about congesting the pocket, keeping the quarterback within, making them win from within the pocket, things like that. Most teams do that to athletic quarterbacks. Sometimes in years past, Georgia has made that guy get out by design. We'll show you what that looks like a little bit today, as well as talk about uncovered and covered in our concepts of the day. We're going to talk about what happens if UGA falls short this season. I got a little in here. Who would be the biggest blame, right? What would be the biggest cause to Georgia not having success this year? Don't know how the chat feels. Want to hear how the chat feels about the 6 p.m. kick. So go ahead and start rattling those things off. What do you feel about playing UT Martin at 6 p.m.? We're going to give our thoughts and opinions here in a little bit as well. Georgia's 2024 signing class and just the depth already here in July, or in August rather, could not have come at a better time. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And the main thing we're going to talk about tonight is some overperformers. We're going to give them 3. We're going to go through, give them 3 players that we believe could outperform whatever the preseason vibe is around that football player and around that team. But first, I want to give some loves to our boys and girls over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com. Using promo code Brooks today will give you a 100% deposit match wherever, however you sign up. What does that mean? You know what it means. If you guys are daily watchers at this point, I would hope by now you are daily users over on PrizePicks, because you'd be supporting those who support us. Promo code Brooks, 100% deposit match. Put 100 in, get 100 back immediately from PrizePicks. Do we have a lock of the day?
Yeah, I got one.
Hold on. Posting those.
Yeah, get that notepad ready.
We on a damn heater, and when I say heater, I mean we're on a 1-win streak. You know what? You win 2, that's called a winning streak. All right? Let's see if we can get on one today. What do you got?
All right, so obviously Florida plays tomorrow. So I've got Ricky Pearsall over 42.5 receiving yards.
I like it.
He's pretty much all they have at that receiver position, and I think he's going to be Graham Mertz's best friend.
What was that number?
Over 42.5.
42.5. Talk to me.
So then the next one I have, this is interesting. This is a new one they have. It's combined rushing yards. So it's Trevor Etienne and Micah Bernard.
The pairing of the two. Yeah.
So the two of them have to rush for over 91.5 yards. I like that a lot.
Ooh.
I think the fact that Utah is going to be without their starting quarterback is going to cause them to run the ball a lot more, and then Florida's probably going to run a lot more as well, just because you have Graham Mertz at your quarterback position. So.
And that's just Florida's offense, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of running.
What if Graham Mertz comes out and just like lights shit up?
Like 2020 Graham Mertz?
Yeah, just like the brief, just like
week 1, 2020.
Just like, hey, this guy's all right.
Man,
that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
All right, what's the third one?
Third one, John Rice Plumlee. 3.5 total touchdowns. I'm hitting the under on that.
JRP, 3.5 tutties going under.
Yeah,
You're fading JRP.
So rushing, passing, or receiving, but he's a quarterback, so he's not going to hit those. I'm going under on that, so we'll see how that goes.
I thought life was too short to take the under, though.
Not around here.
Not always. Not
always.
Caleb Williams under hit.
Not when we're trying to stay streaky, my boy.
No, I'm with you.
Not when we're trying to stay streaky. All right, look, it was no lie. We rolled right up into the house today with very little notes on this Talk the Dog. So, boys, we're going to see what y'all got today. But first, let's go to the board. Let's immediately knock out a concept of the day, okay? And I hope there's no interference, none of that nasty stuff that we've been having lately. All right, let's talk about it. Kirby said yesterday that Nolan sacrificed a lot of rushes pushing quarterbacks out of the pocket, all right? Meaning, he's playing over here, might have a two-eye, right? Might have a nose back here, might have another end. We got our mics and our wheels, right? This is Nolan. Now, what Nolan was great at, right, he tested extremely well. Super twitchy athlete, right? 4.4, sub 4.4, right? No, 4.41, 4.39 unofficial, 4.42 official after the laser. So super twitchy athlete, jumped really well, all that good stuff. Change of direction was really good, okay? If you hear Kirby talk about him, he was a great spiller, right? He turned and spilled, great. Played the run game really well. Held up at the point of the attack really well. But his best attribute was often his ability not only to be a willing rusher, right? Willing mean help out my other teammates, be willing to help out my other teammates, but was an aggressive rusher, a to the echo of the whistle type rusher, right? Drew a lot of attention with his twitch and his effort immediately off the snap. So when I have an edge rusher that is prone to draw a lot of attention, and we have quarterbacks that are prone to run out of the pocket, okay, and maybe make risky plays, or maybe they put the ball at risk, or maybe they're ineffective on the run as opposed to when their feet are planted, right? So if we want to force quarterbacks out of the pocket, something that's relatively not necessarily ideal for most defenses, but when you cover really well, when you create havoc plays and you can pursue the quarterback with your edge rushers and linebackers and such, and maybe it is something to your favor, right? So how would they do this? Well, it's easy. They would take Nolan Smith and they say, all right, Nolan, go outside and immediately jab it right inside. Take that outside step hard, cross that face of that tackle, make him want to wash you down. We're going to take the two-eye across as well. And we might take, it's not necessarily a nose, but it's someone lined up at the nose position, right? Maybe this is one of your jack positions. Maybe this is Xavier Sori this year. How about that? And then you wrap him, right? All right, so why are we doing this? Well, the whole idea is to create some type of grass, right? To make it look like there is an availability or a lane, rather, for this quarterback to run into. When all of this junk happens, and you see, as an offensive tackle, when I see an edge rusher, okay, go to cross my face, my natural inclination is to engage my feet, drive him down. Wash him down is the terminology, right? So if we're washing this down, this quarterback's sitting all this, and he's seeing all this cave in on front of him, his immediate inclination, his immediate reaction is to flush. All right, so the object of the play is to not get to the quarterback. The objective of the play is to flush the quarterback because it gives us the best chance to get off the field. Not just to sack him, to get him off the field, right? So there you go. Rushing with a purpose, the purpose being getting the quarterback out of the pocket. This is the difference, and this is why you might see in years past, Georgia edge rushers not necessarily have, a bunch of stats, right? I think Nolan Smith never had more than 4.5 sacks in a season. Trayvon Walker never had more than 5 sacks in a season. Mykel Williams had a great year last year, had 4.5 sacks, right? You don't see them pad up the stat book because that's not the objective of Georgia defense. The objective of Georgia defense is to get off the damn field. And however they feel best equipped to do that, they're going to do that. They're going to make you every single day to try to score against them. They're going to make you go 12, 14 plays. It's why they're so great. And they also do a great job of making you think you're winning. Like as a quarterback, I see grass, I'm like, oh, easy. No, it's a trap. It's a trap. They just did it to you. They just wanted you to take the bait. It's very, very interesting to see them do that year after year. And they always got a new one, right? When they had Adam Anderson, it was always a big QB spy, delayed dog type vibe where they would just, oh God, they would try to flush that quarterback and just let Adam run down everybody, right? And in years past, they've continued to do that. Last year was like, hey, we're going to take Jalen Walker. We're really going to let him kind of get after tackles and make them be like, oh, damn, who's this short, stocky guy giving me problems off the edge? Like, this is brand new type of vibes. My prediction this year, they go back to that standard defensive ends look, NFL, 5 techniques, big boys. I'm talking about you got your whole roster is compromised or it's made up of comprised. Your whole roster is comprised of edge rushers who are all 6'5", 240 plus. Like you got a bunch of standard traditional 1998 defensive ends. Play some 1998 defense, right? Let them not necessarily get upfield. That's what other teams do. I never believe Kirby Smart will be an up the field rush defense. The idea of letting guys get upfield on us, quarterbacks sneak up inside the pocket, that's blasphemous. That is defensive sin. But allowing guys to kind of bubble out and run towards the sideline, we kind of want that. We promote that around here. Being Georgia defense. But hey, great show. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing, doing all that good stuff. I think we showed love to Prize Picks earlier, but I don't think I told you guys to make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Guys, we're averaging like 5,000, 6,000 views an episode, and we got maybe a couple hundred likes. I'm not dogging you, but I can say, I'm just saying you could be better. That's all. You can be better, right?
Yeah. You can always be better.
You can always be better. We can be better. Y'all, hey, if the mics are hot, the mics are shit, if we drop a stream, y'all let us know. Y'all let us know in the comments. So, hey, I'm challenging you. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing as well because it's only going to get better and better and better. Y'all been doing a great job of that. Super blessed. This month, not to get all braggy, but this month, we've gone up incremental numbers in terms of subscribers, and that's a testament to you guys. So I appreciate y'all with that right now. What are our thoughts right quick on 6 p.m. kick?
I said it yesterday. I think I like the 6 p.m. kick. I think that's a good time because you're not getting out of there too late, especially for those early season games. It's not going to be too hot. You're not getting sunburnt, getting roasted out there in Sanford Stadium, especially for a game like UT Martin. It's a game that it'll be over very quickly probably, and so you can at least enjoy it with maybe some pretty decent weather.
From a media perspective, the 3:30 game is prime. I get a nice – I don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn. Okay, I get a nice standard morning, get to kiss the babies and the wife before I leave, and then get home at a reasonable hour. And while also getting to watch a little bit of the noon games, a little bit of the night games as well. But there is something about a night game. I thoroughly appreciate, having or getting fans the opportunity to have that because you don't get a ton of it. You're not gonna. Yeah. I think you're gonna play. You're gonna play Ball State at noon, and I think you're gonna play UAB at noon. And I think you're gonna play Georgia Tech at noon.
Yep.
And there's gonna be a lot of nooners. And that's the byproduct of a weak ass schedule. And that's not your fault. You would have had an 8 p.m. game out in Norman. They'd have made that sucker prime time. It's not your fault. But you're gonna play a lot of nooners after this.
I'm interested to see what happens though when the ESPN contract kicks in. If they're gonna do where they're gonna do their primetime games, because a lot of the reasons why Georgia doesn't get a lot of night games is because they're at the 3:30 slot for CBS a good amount of the time. Yeah. So if ESPN's going to do a 7 p.m. or if they're going to do noon, maybe they compete with big noon kickoff. I don't know.
That's what was going to be my point. When I went through the slate for MBR today, have you noticed how much more these TV networks are like actively seeking competition? And Big Noon Kickoff is an exact example of that. That Arkansas-Georgia game at noon years ago that was on, or 2 years ago that was on College Game Day, and then they literally opened or closed College Game Day with Reese Davis on the field. Like, dude, the only reason that was there is because Fox had a big game at noon. They flexed the game to noon just to try to take away ratings from Fox. Like, stuff is whack. I mean, the things that they're doing right now, and like even the Thursday night games tomorrow, they're both at 8 o'clock. I mean, I know there's not very many options on Thursday to open the season, but you couldn't push one of those to 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to maximize audiences. And I know people will say, well, Brooks, you compete against other streams all the time. It's kind of a head-down approach. But TV networks have never done this. TV networks, in my opinion, have never actively sought out competition with regards to scheduling. So it's interesting to see. But no, I think the 6 p.m. kick, I know inside the building that they prefer noon kicks. They really do. They like the ability to be able to recruit, during that 6 to 9 o'clock window after the game, and then get to send kids home or get them back to their flight or get them, whatever, get them out of the building. Whereas, like, if you play at 3 o'clock or you play at 6 o'clock, by the time you get done, the kids are ready to go home. They're not trying to sit around the stadium and get recruited. So yeah, it kind of kills the vibe from a recruitment standpoint. But I think the whole kind of schedule, kind of kills the vibe from a recruiting standpoint. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Y'all talked about what happens if UGA doesn't win this year. I don't think there's that much to lose here, except for maybe some public imaging around. I mean, the quarterback would be to blame, and most of the time, it would be because the quarterback was a fault, or because the offensive line wasn't what we thought it was out to be, or because there was. I don't see turmoil. Turmoil is never a thing at this program from a inside the locker room perspective. You know what I mean? And the only other thing I can think of is injury. So if there's going to be something that knocks this team down, those would be the thing: quarterback play, injury, and just I don't even know outside of that.
I mean, you can get caught sleeping in the first half of a playoff game.
Yeah, be a college football team.
Yeah,
be a college team. Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's 5 or 6 bad plays away from losing the Peach Bowl last year, so.
Shit, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, they're 1 kick away. So it's
They're
not
1 timeout away.
Yeah, so it's not like they couldn't have done it last year. I think it's weird to go into this season, even if they do lose. This is going to be an unprecedented time for Georgia fans, because usually when you lose in situations like these, it's either heartbreaking disappointment or frustration. Well, you haven't lost in 2 years. You've won the Natty twice. So it's kind of like, where do you go as a program when this incredible streak ends?
I'm more interested in what the narrative around Georgia becomes in the media. Not necessarily what the reaction would be, because I think at this point, you're 2 natties in. I think fans would take it better than they would. You should at least. You definitely should. Like, I don't think there would be like this utter disappointment or rage on the Twitter timeline if Georgia were to fall short this year. But I'd be interested to see what the media's saying. Are they already starting to chant again about, will Kirby never won again?
No.
Any of that stuff?
So, I mean, Saban kind of had immediate national championship success, so it's not really a direct parallel. But, I mean, we have a case study from the sense of a fan base expecting excellence, right? And that's what Alabama's fan base has become. And no matter what, if you talk to, we talk to them in our mentions all the time. They're in our comments in our national hour pretty regularly now. They expect to win every year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And if you don't win, it is somewhat of a failure. Now, there's plenty of excuses that are made. I mean, but that's fandom. I think if Georgia loses from now on, it won't be, hey, who do we blame? It's what do we blame, right? It's what outside of our program do we blame? Because we're definitely not blaming Kirby Smart, the guy who's winning 85% of his football games, on the way to moving that number up closer to 90% of his football games. So it's definitely not the questioning of the head coach. It'll be the questioning of quarterback play, like I said, and what outside caused us to lose Tyler Simmons onside.
Yeah, and it's also like being a Georgia fan my whole life. Every time you get to the end of a season prior to 2021, it was like, is it ever going to happen? This felt like our best season to do it. I feel like we're never going to win at this point. And then you get your hopes up every year. So it's going to be very interesting to see when you do fall short, but you have 2 nights to look back on and say, well, it's happened already. So who's to say it's not going to happen next year, where it's not this like bottom hopelessness. So it's going to be interesting to see if this year it doesn't happen.
I will say, though, like, example, like the Braves came off of a World Series win, and then they got bounced out of the playoffs the very next year in the first round versus the Phillies, and fans reacted the same exact way that they would anytime you lost in the playoffs. So I think the fan outrage is always going to be there because it sucks and you don't expect it, especially not this season. You're not expecting anything short of a national championship, or at least a national championship game appearance. So fans are going to be fans, and they should be. They're crazy. They love their football teams, but I am interested to see like how they move on from it, kind of what the outlook on the next season is, and those types of things.
Yeah, it's the standard now. I mean, I think Glenn Schumann said it best about this. He said, the funny thing about a standard is once you set it, you got to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
You did it to yourself. And I think it's funny because, like, it's not funny, but it's the reality. Like, those are his expectations anyways.
Right.
Those are the expectations in the building. They always were. Now it's easier when you fail from an outside perspective. Now they talk about not caring, but now when you fail, if you fail, it's not, hey, 44 years, you know what I mean? Now it's just, all right, well, we finished 5th this year, we finished 4th this year, we'll get him next year. We got another crack at it, because as long as that dude's there, you're good. It's like having a quarterback on a rookie deal in the NFL. That's what it is. Y'all got a guy for like 10 to 12 years. However, like in his prime, y'all gonna have a dude. And it might extend further than that. I think there was like a brief moment where there was like a fear. Like the initial shock of first-time transfer portal and NIL, that initial shock scared a lot of coaches, man. A lot of retirement talk. Across the board from everybody, all right? We're out of that storm. I think this dude, I mean, in the rooms I'm in with him, he seems energetic. Like people talking about work-life balance being better around the building. Dude, that parking lot was empty today at 7:15. You know what I mean? Like, they're not working tooth to the bone anymore. So I don't know, I get better vibes around him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I saw the clip today of Kirby Smart after the 2018 SEC championship game when they lost to Alabama, and he got posed the question of, do you think you should be in the college football playoff? And he goes on that tangent of like, I think we're one of the 4 best teams. You go ask that coach across the sidelines who they want to play or who they don't want to play, and it starts with us. It starts with us. And like you can like even then that's a change of Kirby Smart, because like then you could tell he wanted it so bad. The expectations were like you never see Kirby go out of his way to like preach for his team like that and say like he doesn't want to play us, like talk about his program like that, or even mention Nick Saban in that type of context. But now it's a little different, you know. You win a national title and you don't have to put those type of expectations on yourself, and you don't have to fight for yourself like that. So 4 years and things have changed so much.
There's this funny thing about coaching culture, and it's every staff. Some staffs, before they win, they just think that like if I'm in the office, I might figure something out. Like I would have coaches that would just sit their ass in the office. They would just pretend to work, because that like the first person to get up to leave kind of gets a look, or like there's an energy in the room about like, man, for real, really, you're getting up? It's only 9:30, really? Like I was here till 12 last night. Like some places are like that, and there might have been a sense of that, you know, before, and now it's like I think he even mentioned it the other day, and part of it is this kid's getting older. You know what I mean? Like he's seeing his kids grow. Like the other day we're waiting on media availability, and we've talked about it on this channel before, but like media availability is last minute, dude. It's like it's 6:10, 6:15, 6:30, whatever time it is. They send you an email like 5 o'clock. Hey, it's at such and such time. We might be there. Coach Smart might be there. He might not be there. And you know what his schedule this week was based upon? Whether or not this hurricane was going to take out Andrew's football games. So they were reading the weather report, all that good stuff. It's touch and go whether or not you're going to get him on Tuesday or whether you're going to get him on Wednesday, because his priorities have slightly changed as his kids have gotten older. And I think those are good things for the longevity of his career, because, dude, I don't know if this will happen to me, but at some point you get burnt out. I mean, at some point you're going to get burned out. Caffeine will only go so far.
For sure.
Caffeine and vibes will only go so far. But it's something I left out of the observations from Tate. I asked him, and I think this is the key to Kirby. This is the key to his life, not just his. I asked him about the pregame speeches. What's the key to a good pregame speech? And you know what his answer was? Juice. Juice. That was it. Simple. Juice. His energy, man. Just the way he attacks it. The way he's talking about something that he loves. Because he loves that shit. It's uncommon, the energy with which he walks through his day-to-day life with regards to football. So when it comes to that moment, we finna go to war. We're fitting to pay, we're fitting to receive the blessings of our sacrifices, essentially. Up to this point, man, yeah, hell yeah, he's got uncommon juice and energy in that moment right there. So that uncommon energy, that uncommon juice, that's something I aspire to have that throughout everything that I do, because I know it's the key. It's got to be the key. It's the key to doing everything, 110%. You got to have energy.
And you can tell that it's not fake juice. Like some people will
Foos.
fake. Some people, yeah.
He's not
foos.
foosing it.
He's not. Like some people, when they give a pregame speech and you listen to it, it's like, all right, like, yeah, you raised your voice a little bit. You might have had some spit come out of your mouth, but there was no heart behind that or emotion behind that. But Kirby Smart, you could tell it's there.
You can also tell it's ad-libbed. You could tell homeboy wasn't thinking the night before. He wasn't worried about. He just like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to let those motherfuckers on Fox. Did you hear what they said about us? He's just going into it, man. He's just ready to rip. Mm-hmm. I want you to go out there with shit up your ass, ready to eat, man. Just like just random shit up your ass. Coach, what? Like just random. Just bring me the juice. Yep. That's all that matters.
Uncommon Juice would make a hell of a sports drink name.
Would it?
Juice.
Uncommon Juice, yeah.
We're going to print the T-shirts. Print the T-shirts. Uncommon Juice. TM, Film Guy Network. Hey, y'all see Mel Kiper obviously watches the show?
I mean, heck, he's got to get good opinions from somewhere because
Y'all
you typically don't come from himself.
Hey, bro, don't take a shot at the
Damn,
king.
you just took a shot at Mel Kiper.
Hey,
Holy
for someone who cares very much so about their hair, Mel Kiper got that thing on the top of his head, bro. Whew. That boy got that paya. You know what I mean? He got that thick shit, cuz. You think he got the PEDs? Because he ain't fading and he ain't going great.
You don't think he's fading?
Bro, it ain't walking. It is not walking back on him. There ain't shit changed about man's hair in 40 years.
Nah, bro. There's definitely been a change.
Word?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you think he's natty?
I think so. He might have had
I'll
pull up some pictures.
I don't want to throw no allegations out there. Okay? I don't want to throw no allegations out there, but hey, it's all right. If you use the PEDs, it's okay. I'm gonna use PEDs too. This ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna be out here looking like Caillou if I go bald. No facial hair, no nothing. I'm talking about just a big old cue ball walking out here with no chin, no nothing. I just look like a volleyball. Talking about some Wilson head ass.
Damn, bro.
What do you think?
It would be
you got it
bad.
pulled up?
Yeah. So do you want me to show you on that's what he looks like now, right?
Oh yeah, no, he's fading.
Yeah,
he's crop
yeah.
topping.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, never mind. Hey, allegation rescinded. Allegation rescinded. Hey, but if you find a good PED plug, let me know. Literally, a good plug. Let me know. Hey, word up on them streets right there, dog. Yeah, but anyways, Mel Kiper clearly watches the show because he finally he's the only NFL draft analyst I saw, by the way. Only NFL draft analyst that is catching on to this Amarius Mims train. You know what that tells me? By the way, every time I go to media availability and practice availability and all that good stuff, loads of NFL scouts, as you would imagine, right? This is the time of the year where they're really collecting information for the decisions that they're going to make in April of next year. And yeah, but it don't take long to watch 65 practice at the University of Georgia to know that dude's a $100 millionaire. Does not take long. You just watch. You just walk out there and see it, and you're like, there ain't many of those. Like, especially in the NFL nowadays. Okay, I told you. Did I tell people on this channel Xavier Truss is getting first-round grades? I didn't. Maybe I only told Patreon. Okay,
you didn't say it on air.
That's a Patreon nug. That's on me. But yeah, if Xavier Truss is getting first-round grades because the NFL is that depleted with superior offensive line play, Amarius Mims, there's like one of those walking this planet right now, and he is skyrocketing up boards right now before he even plays. Mel's article today, and I'll go pull it up about him. Mel's article today basically read like what we told you the other day. It's like, hey, just watch him this year. Buddy's about to have like an incredible season at the offensive line position. I haven't released this article yet. Classic case. But let me read it to you. I got it right here. Here we go. Amarius Mims already drawing the eye. Quote, Mims has started 2 games in his college career and played just 492 total snaps, and yet I feel great about putting him in my top 25. Why? Because what I saw in those snaps and what I've heard from college coaches and NFL front office execs, they expect him to be one of the best linemen in college football this season. Okay? Basically what we've been telling you on this channel over and over and over again, all right? Buddy fitting a ball this season, all right? So have fun, watch it, enjoy it. You're going to get 15 games of it, 14 games of it, however many you get. You're going to get that many, and then homeboy going to be a first-round pick. And I think it's the 3rd or 4th year in a row where that's the case, right? Andrew Thomas, Isaiah Wilson. No, you skipped a year with Solomon and Jamari.
The 2020 year, right?
The 2022 draft class. You skipped Jamari's draft class. Jamari was a 3rd-round draft pick. You didn't have a first-round tackle. Then Broderick, now Amarius. We'll see what Ernest Green can do after that. I think he's the one with the next potential to be a first-round caliber offensive lineman. Outside of Xavier Truss, I got to tell you about this, dude. We told patreon.com/Brooks Austin, just give you a little taste. Sometimes I forget where I put stuff and where I, put the intel. It's just so much of it. You know what I mean? Just so much. But I put it on Patreon, and it is the truth. One of these other guys that's blowing up had a great camp, keeps practicing really well. You look up, you look at the stats, and you're like, damn. At the end of the year, Xavier Truss is going to play in like 45 college games. He's going to make 37 college starts at Georgia. He's 6'7". He's 335 pounds. He's got 35.5-inch arms. He's never been hurt. Just like the definition of and model of consistency. Guys, there's going to be people that put extreme value into a known commodity, right? When we talk about sometimes in the draft world, I think this is, who's my man from the NFL Network that does it? Daniel Jeremiah. This is a DJ term. He talks about hitting ground rule doubles as an evaluator. Okay, if I'm in control of roster management, especially in the NFL, you know what's extremely valuable? A known commodity, right? You don't have to hit home runs. You don't have to hit balls out of the stadium every time you step up to the plate. But by God, if you can hit a ground rule double, take it every time. Jog your ass to second base and stand there and do your little celebration that everybody in baseball does nowadays, whatever it is. One of these little things. One of those, right? Do your little celebration, hit your ground rule double, and get on second base and call it a day. That's the definition of what this dude is. Xavier Truss is a ground rule double. Just take it, bro. Nice and safe and secure. It's like home insurance, which I got to update, by the way. Let's think about that. I had nervous sweats the other day about home insurance. I got to update that. That's adult problems, bro.
You're getting personal on here now.
I'm always personal. I've never not been upfront and forthcoming with the thoughts that come up into my random ass head. But yeah, Mel Kiper out here taking the bait. Not necessarily taking the bait, but watching the Film Guy Network. For sure.
So do you think there's potential for 3 first-round offensive linemen for Georgia this year?
Yeah, Tate. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be Cedric.
Yeah, no.
It's unfortunately not. I don't think it's going to be Cedric. He might play his way and interview his way into like the 45th overall selection. But there's one center taken like every 3 years, and that dude is a freak. He's like, 4.8 runner. He's like Jason Kelsey. That's who he is.
Yeah.
He's a transcendent offensive center. He's going to change your offense. You're going to be able to pull him, get him out in space. He's a great athlete. Not going to have to worry about him ever. Garrett Bradbury, the kid out of NC State, was first-round draft pick. And his most famous play in the NFL is him catching a tipped ball and running for a first down on a 3rd and short, okay? And he catches it at his damn shoelaces. And he picks the thing up and runs for 15 yards. It's an incredible clip because he's an incredible athlete. SVP is not that, and they only draft those at the top end of the round. So he might, like I said, evaluate and play his way and interview his way into like a top 50 pick, which is an improvement. I think he got a 3rd to 4th round grade per my sourcing this offseason. So that's money. That's $500,000, believe it or not. By the way, you did some excellent reporting on the Kyrus Jackson signing. That dude basically made $2.7 million the other day by making that 53-man roster. Mm-hmm. His damn agent, that deal is incredible. If he makes the roster, he makes $750,000 this year. And if he, basically the life of the contract's almost $3 million if he makes the 53-man roster for 4 years.
Yep.
as an undrafted dude, that's a bag, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like league minimum is what? I think league minimum is like $600,000.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, shouts out to the agent, man. Shouts out to Kyrus Jackson for making that roster, but shouts out to the agent, bro.
For sure.
I hope he's only taking 3%. Them agents be getting wild nowadays, man. They be taking some fat cuts. I'm not into that. Not into that. Hey, yeah, we talk about the schedule, right? We talk about the 6 p.m. kick against UT Martin. Talk about the nooner that's upcoming against Ball State. Talk about the nooner that's inbound, okay, against Ball State. Talk about only having home games against South Carolina, Kentucky. I believe you get Missouri at home this year, right? Georgia Tech at home this year.
No, Georgia Tech's on the road.
Okay, but you get like 5 or 6 home games this year, and they're not great, right? Not a 2019 Notre Dame on the schedule. There ain't no 2021 Arkansas on the schedule. There's Ole Miss at home on the schedule. Pretty big football game, pretty nice. Gonna have some big environments. Maybe Ole Miss has survived some tests. Maybe they're a top 10, top 12 program at that point in the year. You never really know. But sitting at it, staring at it, looking at it right now, looks like quite a bit of a snooze fest for a home football game, particularly if you got the shitty draw on the student tickets. Shouts out to my boy Jay Will. We'll talk about that in a minute because I know you're hurt. Just steam over there right quick while I'm building because I'm cooking something up over here. But man, when you look at this schedule and you're like, bad, might be decent, okay, noon, 3:30, maybe a night game, right? Not a lot of high intensity, high vibe games on the schedule, which means not going to be a lot of big recruiting weekends, right? Guys are going to be going to other football games. Guys are going to be going to other places, and that's okay. You know why? Because it's August 30th, and the University of Georgia has 26 commits in their 2024 class. What a time to have just randomly flipped it up, okay? Georgia gets ahead of a lot of schools. They get ahead of a lot of things, but they are not typically an early closing football team on the recruiting trail. In fact, normally going into a season, they got some work to do. And the work left to be done is always on the big names, always on the big guys that they're chasing. And yeah, there's LJ McCray, and they're going to continue to pursue Aiden Breland, and there's a linebacker, Chris Cole out there that's lurking. And there's work to be done, don't get me wrong. But dude, 26 commits in August 30th when you got nothing but a snoozer ahead of you, a home schedule, a home slate-wise, it's almost as if the head coach has got some foresight with the regards to how he is recruiting. Now, there are some other things at play. I don't want to be a propaganda person here like we were accusing the media doing with Bama the other day. There's some, it ain't just them, right? It's the schedule. The recruiting schedule as a whole has changed. People are early enrolling much more often, which means they're trying to get their commitments done before their senior year. There are other factors at play here. But, dude, it ain't just that. Like, Alabama's still sitting around. I don't know how many commits they had, but last time I looked, they were relatively low on the number pool, right? Texas picked up steam here in August, but they weren't super hot on the trail before August. So not everybody has piled the classes up. Georgia did so for a lot of reasons. Recruiting calendar, but I think a minor reason, not a large part, but it played a role, the fact that they ain't got really nothing to advertise in terms of home visits this year.
Gosh, you talking about tickets. That just brought up so many emotions that I had
killed the
earlier
vibes.
this week. You did, man. It just
That's
got
on
me
me.
thinking about it. Freaking senior, and I get Missouri, Kentucky, Ball State, and UAB. Like, that's my home. Like, you couldn't even give me the other split package that at least has South Carolina and Ole Miss. And here's my thing. All the freshmen get every single home game, and I get why. You want to give them a great first experience on campus and everything. But how about taking care of your seniors, the ones that have been paying you money for 4 years? How about you take care of them? Make sure that they get one good last ride out.
You ever fished?
Yeah.
You ever failed to set the hook too long and that swallowed the hook?
Yeah.
Bubba, you done swallowed the hook on Georgia football. That's some bitch in your belly.
I know.
They can give you whatever tickets you want. You're going to be a lifelong, I'm trying to get tickets guy the rest of your life. So, yeah, you swallowed the hook a long time ago. They don't have to prioritize you, Bubba. That's just the way life works, dog. Like, you done paid the dues. You already in, and you swallowed the hook. It's in your belly. We're going to have to cut the line and throw your ass back in. That's what we're going to have to do.
That's not what I want to hear.
That's just the cold hard facts of life.
I know. It sucks.
And it does.
I just had to get off my chest.
But, you know, they make a lot of money for a reason. They smart. You know what I mean? They ain't no dummies. You got anything?
No, man, I don't want to add anything to that. Jay Will might get upset.
All right.
What
Hey.
do you mean?
What do you mean?
Go ahead and do that outro, man.
What do you mean by that? No, we're not doing outros. We got one more segment left. We got overperformers. The whole reason everyone's here tonight.
Bring it.
Yeah, we got to give them 3. I love to hear in the comments that folks are actually giving them 3. Mm-hmm. I couldn't imagine. I already get weird ass looks from y'all significant others out in public when y'all see me, and they be like, "You that guy was always on my TV. You that fat head that's always on my TV." And this is my husband, and I don't like you. I get ugly looks, and now I got y'all some bitches clapping in the living room out of nowhere. So yeah, give him 3. That was weak. That was off timing. My bad. Today's give him 3. The object of the give him 3. Give me 3 overperformers. Give me 3 guys that you think are going to outperform whatever the pre-existing notion of that individual is, right? Whether it be, hey, this guy's, second stringer now, going to end up, I believe, my opinion, a starter or a major contributor by the end of the year. We'll start with you, Jay Will. What do you got?
All right, first name on the list, Marcus Rasimi-Jacksaint. Purely because when you think about the wide receiver room, you think about Ra Thomas, you think about Dominic Lovett, you think about Brock Bowers, you think about Ladd McConkey. I think everybody's kind of agreed that those are guys that are going to eat the most this year. But Marcus Rasimi-Jacksaint is going into his 4th year. He grinds his ass off every single time he's out on that field, and he has proven that he can make big plays for you down the stretch when you need him to. So I think he's going to outperform his. Second player is Zion Logue, going into his 5th year. He's been around for a long time. He has a lot of experience of what it means to be a Georgia Bulldog. Last year was his first season where he got consistent snaps, and he was consistently in the football game. I think he can bridge last year into this year and have a really successful last season with Georgia. Last one, Jalen Walker, because I think much like Marcus Rasimi-Jacksaint, he's not necessarily a guy that gets forgotten about. Not exactly someone you mentioned first when you talk about Georgia's defense, and I think he's in a position that can really impact and make big plays.
Hey, that boy Jay Will, give him 3. What do you got for me?
All right, so first I got Smile Mondman. I think that Pop gets a lot of credit for being the best linebacker.
He really does.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the guy. I think Smile really comes in. He might be a first-round pick after this season. I think he's kind of the Quay Walker to Nakobe Dean in that aspect. So that's why I have Smile on there. Next, I have Mekhi Muse. I think by the end, did you have him? I finally took one from you.
That a boy.
I think by the end of the season, he's going to kind of be known as the special teams guy, and Georgia hasn't had one of those since McCole Hardman, so he's going to really excel this year, I think. And then last, I have Chaz Chambliss. Everyone's kind of worried how, we lost Nolan Smith, the DN position is going to kind of go take a downhill step. I don't think it's downhill. It's going to be different, like you said. They're going to do different things that Chaz will excel at. So he's going to have a much better season than people are anticipating.
I like that. I got a little OLI, a little outside looking in right here. Mike Bobo, going to overperform, outperform whatever your expectations are of him this year. I got a vibe. I just got a feeling. I got a little feeling that he got a little FU. And not even a chip on man's shoulder. He don't walk around with a chip. He walks around with a button that just says, you, right here. If you've ever been around Mr. Bobo, that sounded weird. If you've ever been around Coach Bobo, or as we call him around here, Mobo. If you've ever been around Mobo, you'll know that kind of a testy individual. Kind of testy. Very much so like Kirby. You know what I mean? Kirby testy. You know what I mean? So is Mobo. So yeah, outside looking in, I think he's going to outperform whatever your expectations are of him. Arian Smith staying healthy. I mean, good Lord, that's an outperformance already. He has outperformed any expectations of his season, period, point blank. Guys, I've heard that, and he accredited to going to treatment over and over again, not just staying healthy. I made a joke earlier. He's going to treatment. He's seeking treatment, actively repairing his body, not just preparing his body. You know what I mean? Actively working on staying healthy day to day as a football player is very, very important, and it takes a lot of maturity, and he's clearly done that. But, dude, if he has 3 or 4 catches a game, let's say he has 5 catches a game, he's going to average 100 yards receiving. The guy's a walking 20-yard reception, okay? I was talking to somebody the other day. They think he could have a 700-yard season on 35, 40 receptions, okay? It could really be like that for this dude because all it takes. If I told you Arian Smith's stat line at the end of Saturday looks like 3 catches, $125,
I believe that.
You believe that?
Sounds about right.
2 touchdowns and yep, exactly. Sounds about right. Checks out. That's what we'll say. So I think he will outperform whatever expectations you have for him this year. Ra Thomas is going to be a player, and I know the chat showed some love to MRJ, and I'm glad MRJ is going to get his run, right? I'm glad Marcus Rasimi-Jacksaint is going to have his opportunity because there ain't a single football player in that building. Actually, there's a bunch of them like him, but there's few individuals that deserve what's coming to him more than him, right? He deserves every opportunity that's coming to him this season. He's waited his turn. By God, Lord knows he's overcome some pretty tragic injuries as well. So there's reasons to be hopeful for Marcus Rasimi-Jacksaint having a great season. But when you talk to people inside that building, there's just more and more people that are like, man, this guy's an NFL football player. This Ra Thomas dude's different, okay? He's physically a little bit different than what they got when the ball is in the air. And that's very, very important when it's 3rd and long or when you're in the green zone and you're trying to take a shot, right? That's what A.D. Mitchell was. A.D. Mitchell was a tough, contested catcher, okay? When the pocket was dirty and we only have one decision and the decision is to throw the ball into the air over there, wherever over there is. Years past, it was George Pickens, and it was A.D. Mitchell. I think by the end of the year, the outperformer at that spot, that throw it over there, he might save us, is going to be Ra Thomas. Okay, and then the last one, we've talked about this over on Patreon a little bit, and he's an important player to this room. And Zion Lowe gets talked about, and Nazir Stackhouse gets talked about. Those are older individuals. Warren Brinson gets talked about. That's a 4-year guy, right? Tramel Walthour is very important to this football team. Okay, from a fix the boat and steer it in the right direction when it's going wrong type of vibe, he's going to be vital this year. Tramel Walthour has been in this system and in this program for 6 years now, and it's important to watch him develop and to continue to be a leader and have an opportunity to play alongside Michael this year and get some burns. So how about that? I think we forgot to give my boy Kirby.
You sure did.
3, did we
What
not? Give him 3. I'm not even going to give myself 3 because we forgot you. So that's lack of execution on my end right there. We are 56 minutes in. Did we miss anything? We talked about the 6 p.m. kick. Talked about, concept of the day. We have not talked about uncovered covered. Let's talk about this. So I asked Tate a question today, okay, about, hey, playing a multiple defense this week, right? Playing a team that plays odd and even, okay? Odd being a 3-man down front, even being a 4-man down front. Let's explain the difference. We draw up 4-man fronts all the time on this network, so you should know what they look like, right? A little nose, a little 3 technique, an end. I don't know why I wrote it like another 3 and an end, right? A Mike and a Willie. All right, well, what UT Martin does is they play a little bit of that, but they also play a little bit of, an odd front, right? We got an end over here, an end over here, maybe a Will, a Mike, and a Sam, right? Some teams play an odd front. Maybe they got a 4th linebacker over here playing kind of a star, a little overhang, right? Well, the difference for this guard right here is the difference between having a 3 technique on you, right? Having somebody over you, being covered, having somebody on me, or being uncovered, having nobody over me. So when I have plays like this, and let's say we're running, inside zone to the right. Let's say we're running, actually we have the overhang over here, so we'd probably run it to the left, just talking football. Now I'm the uncovered guy, right? Nobody's in front of me. So a lot of teams will work through this nose, and I'll have to work with my center to overtake that nose. And now I'm the secondary guy. We'll switch over here and I'll explain this, right? When I'm covered, okay, when I have somebody in front of me, I know I stunned that one on you. When I have somebody on top of me, I am the primary guy in the combination blocks, right? Meaning I am the one responsible for movement. So I'm going to get my 2 feet in the ground, right? I'm going to get my hands in. I'm going to get a nice shock, and I'm going to try to create some movement off the line of scrimmage as my teammate comes in to join me and bump off, right? Now, as the guy who is uncovered, I'm going to be the bumper all game long. I'm going to step down, give kind of an assist, and then I'm going to climb up to the second level. I'm an additional help guy, right? Those days, I'm not as prone to a heavy workload. Those days, as an uncovered offensive lineman, I'm a helper. I'm there to get assistance. Also, as the uncovered offensive lineman against odd fronts, it's very, very important that we have some type of general athleticism. Because guess what? Particularly if they run a bumped front, right? If they bump a Sam or the Willie, they bump the stack. Now we got 2 guys over us, right? I might have to climb to the second level, unzip my feet on a linebacker all damn day long. So if I'm not ready and prepared for guys going east and west, I'm going to get screwed up, right? I'm going to have guys blow by me. I'm going to have guys turn my shoulders, and I'm going to capture edges really, really quickly. Mississippi State's great at this. Mississippi State's great at taking this Willie and making that guard miss, and now all of a sudden he's standing at the line of scrimmage, and the offensive lineman's like, what the heck? What you smiling about?
Taking this Willie. Come on, man. You know that's funny.
Yeah, it is. That's on me. Hey, man, sometimes you got to take that Willie and you got to blitz him. Sometimes you got to blitz him through A-gap. You know what I mean? We got NBR coming up. Nothing but rants, show I find topics I'm highly passionate about it. I pontificate upon them. We're going to do some week 1 predictions. All right, we're going to go through the slate and talk about them in just like 5 minutes. We'll see you over there. Make sure you hit that.